Alright guys, Melissa here. Quick video I want to share with you all. Especially young girls. I'm over here doing something else. But I was at church today. Good sermon. I heard part of it. Went up for prayer. Just asked somebody to pray for a couple things for me. And then I had a choice of another group tonight instead of the one I went to last Sunday watching the Super Bowl. And I'm like, I think I'm going to go to this group instead. So I went to this group, met some people, didn't say a whole lot. I mean, the Super Bowl was on, so I was busy watching that and, didn't say a whole lot. I get a text from this guy this afternoon saying, you know what, we thought this group is not a good fit for you. We wish you well. And I'm like, what? What the heck? I already wasn't going to his group tonight. But I'm like, wonder where this is coming from, right? Because I didn't do anything. I mean, I'm like, this is weird. This is out of the blue, right? So I did a funny emoji and went, oh, no, right? With my sarcasm. And I said, that's interesting. That is really interesting. So I said, well, what I'll have to do is talk to the pastor because the pastor invited me to the community groups. And, in a nutshell, I was saying, who are you to make these decisions, right? So if somebody doesn't want to welcome you guys, you do not have to put up with them. It doesn't matter which big swelling words they use. You do not have to put up with that to let somebody mistreat you. So I don't know what this guy's problem is. I mean, his wife was looking at my shirt. It was a basic white modest shirt I wore last week. A little bit see-through maybe, a little bit with my bra, but no big deal. And I wore that same shirt to work and they're like, oh, I love your shirt. It wasn't much at all that there would be an issue with. It was a normal white shirt. And I'm thinking, why is she looking at me like that, right? So that's on her. That's her problem. So I let the pastor know, and then I let another person know because I'm part of their community group. And I'm like, do you know what's going on over here? Because this isn't making sense to me. So I said to him, so I sent him a text and I said, be very, very careful that you do not make other Christians stumble because of you, And I said, I will wipe the dust off my feet of you. I said, this is not the gospel. You don't unwelcome people to church, guys. So I don't know what this guy's personal problem is. I really don't. I don't know if he's attracted to me and he's stumbling. I have no idea. But out of the blue, I was told by a church group or him. I'm like, who is we? And I'm like, be very careful. I said, I am just I'm just on equal ground with you in the playing field as a Christian, as you are. And I said, and maybe you ought to be obedient because he who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven is the one who serves. So guys, lay it right in. And I'm like, okay, so I let other people know what you just said to me. And they'll be getting back to you because this is not the gospel. You don't uninvite people to your small group because you personally have a problem. I said, what's the matter? Did the truth hurt you? Did you get offended with something about the truth? I mean, I'm like, what's your problem? And he's like, oh, we decided that we just genuinely hope the best for you. And I'm like, what the heck? And this is not Christian at all, guys. If your brother has a problem with you, he should be going to you and saying, look, this is what the situation is, and then you resolve it, right? So I have no idea what that was, but I already was moving on to that. Where they were was kind of, not the best location for me. So I was already going to go to another group, especially with my van. I'm being very careful with it. So I don't know what that was, but when someone tries to put you down, guys, you don't have to put up with it. When you do get rejected before God, just be like, thank you, God, you removed the wolf from my life. Thank you. Do not accept rejection, guys, from other people.